Okay, so today we're going to talk about the difference between expressions and equations, and we're going to revisit what a variable is. So remember, a variable is a symbol. This is usually a lower case letter. Remember, it's your unknown, used to represent a number. A value is simply just a number. And when we say substitute, substitute is to replace a letter, which is a variable, with a number, which is going to be a value. We're actually going to give it a value, okay? So we kind of did this at the beginning of the school year. We said we're going to substitute, right? So when we substitute, it says x plus 4. So remember, we have x plus 4, and remember our x equals 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to plug in 2 into x, and then we're going to put plus 4. So 2 plus 4 equals 6. Remember? So when we evaluate this expression, we say it is 6. Remember here, when there's nothing between the number and the variable, we are just simply multiplying. So like here, we have 5 and x. So that means 5 times whatever the value of x is. And here we're saying the value of x is 3. So we're going to do 5. Remember that floating dot means multiply. 3. And 5 times 3 equals 15. Okay, even if we have two variables, which are letters, together, that still means we're going to multiply. So we're going to do x times y. And here we see our x is 4 and our y is a negative 2. So we're going to do 4 times negative 2. Okay, remember a positive times a negative is a negative, and 4 times 2 is 8. So when we simplify this expression here, we would get negative 8. All right, now let's look at equations here. Notice our equation has an equal sign. So we're saying y is actually equal to something. So here, if x is 7, then we're going to take our x values and we're going to multiply it by 3. So if you notice, our x values are over here to the left. So we're going to take all our x values, multiply them by 3, and that's going to give us our y values. So the rule here is telling me to do that. So we're going to do 7 times 3, which would make y 21. 11 times 3 is 33, so that would make y 33. 1.5 times 3 is make y 4.5. So all I did was use the rule of my equation and I solved for y. Okay, remember when there's nothing in between it, that means you're going to multiply. Here, notice there is a sign in between the x and the 10. It says we are adding 10 to get our y. So I'm going to take my x values, which are over here to the left, and I'm going to add 10 to each x value to get my y. So 4 plus 10 would be 14. 15 plus 10 would be 25. And 3.2 plus 10 would be 13.2. Okay, so all I did was I multiplied with one rule and I added with another. Okay? All right, now we're going to really talk about the difference between an expression and an equation here. And if you notice, the expression had no equal sign. That's the main thing. Expression had no equal sign. This is like a math phrase. And when you think about English, a phrase is something that's incomplete. So it's not necessarily a complete thought, right? Because here it just said x times y. Well, x and y could be anything, right? When we work it out, we usually say evaluating. or we say simplifying. And here are some examples of expression. If you notice here, the expression, it says 4 plus 8, and then we multiply it by 2. But there is no equal sign here. That's the main thing, no equal sign. Here's another example of expression. We have 4x plus 5. Notice there is no equal sign. Okay, now let's talk about equations. Equations almost spells out the word equal, almost, right? So an equation does have an equal sign. And this is like a math sentence. It's like a complete thought. There's only one value for the variable here whenever we're solving, okay? When we work it out, we say we are solving the equation. And if you notice here, in the examples, there are equal signs in both of them. So that's the difference. The main one is one has an equal sign, one does not. Expressions have multiple values for the variable. Equations will only have one. Now let's talk about some things that they have in common. They might have numbers, variables, and operations in common. Remember, operations are when we add, subtract, multiply, or divide. And they can be numeric, which means they have numbers. Or they can be algebraic, which means they have letters, variables.